Hello, good morning. In today's class, I'm talking about the diffusion of innovation theory. Let me see the syllabus here again a little bit. So, week 3, maybe it's not showing much. I will just, let me check. Not blur my background, but how it's blurring. So, diffusion of innovation theory, I have this paper here. And Silverstone, so Norman and MacVaugh and Schiavone and Kokak and other friends, other scholars. They have authored the articles of the week. And one of the interesting part is these articles are relatively old, because at least older than like a decade. Like Norman's article is 3 decades old, 1995 and 2024 now. So the psychopathology of everyday things, and limits to the diffusion of innovation, a literature review, and integrating model. It is here, you can see. And Kokak's and Kaya's social media from the perspective of diffusion of innovation approach. So these 3 articles, we are discussing this theory in relation to those articles. And first of all, I will go with the overview of DOI in general and these recommended readings. Then I'll be discussing some of the leading questions for the seminar so that the discussion will be more meaningful, helpful, and convenient for you. Let's start without delaying further, understanding the diffusion of innovation theory. This theory is developed by Everett Rogers in 1962. And this guy, you can see the photo, and this guy invested a lot of his scholarly force at the University of New Mexico, United States. And this theory is always useful, always relevant. And when there are new technologies coming, and again, his theory can be applicable to discuss further. And it focuses to examine how and why, at what rate new ideas and technologies spread through cultures. So different cultures have different kind of adaptation rate and adaptation strength and adaptation challenges as well. So key concept here is innovation is spread through specific channels over time among the members of social system. So this is a kind of ethnic theory as well, because ethnicity, this ethnographic approach is there as well. Here are some of the key components we can be discussing about the diffusion of innovation theory. Number 1 is the innovation itself, and Rogers defines the innovation as an idea, practice, or object perceived as new to the certain sociocultural groups. And similarly, communication channels mean any channels, any medium, any technology by which information about the innovation spreads or is transmitted to the public or the potential individuals or potential customers. Time means the rate at which innovation is adopted. How quickly, how slowly, or what are the time-related challenges? So we can discuss on that. And social system means a group of individuals who adopt innovation and engage in solving problems to accomplish a common goal. So these 4 key components are here: innovation itself, communication channels, time, and social system. So we can further talk about the idea of innovation here. Sorry. Here, do you see here? I think I can a little make it wider here, for example. Let's go here. What do you see? Innovators, early adopters, early majority, late majority, and laggards. Innovators, and there's some percentage, some study. So this is the study of his finding. So he's just showing here the percentage, 10% or something, and 30.5%. And so there are some tentative percentage here. And the exact percentage are not correct here because it's some others theory. Okay. Let me come back again. And maybe a little more to make it tight. Yes. Innovators mean 2.5% is the percentage given here is not correct based on Rosas model. Here in Rosas model, innovators mean 2.5%. Very few people, they want to experiment with situation. So when there are some new gadgets available in the market, very few people are fond of trying, experimenting with something new. So these are very venturesome people, techno-savvy, tech enthusiast, experimental, and curious to try to use new products, and then they are the convey of this message to the other people. So they're working some kind of as a social leader as well, and they don't hesitate to experiment when things available in town. So they understand and apply complex technology, and they communicate this with innovators as well. So meaning when there are new products available or are in experimentation, so these people, 2.5, this is the finding percentage of Rogers. So when you try yourself, maybe the percentage of 2.5 can be more. The same problem, look at here, the early adopters mean when there are 2.5% people already using and sharing their ideas. Okay, yeah, this product is good. Really helpful. Then these early adopters, they jump in and then start using that. So these are visionary people, serve as the opinion leaders, mean once they use it and they communicate to the large mass, and have a zeal to be trendsetters, serve as a role model, not much cost sensitive. They don't care about the cost. The first group, even they don't care about the cost. They try. Second group, they are also less careful about the less care. They may be careful, but I mean, they don't care much about the cost thing because they want to experiment with something new. So not much cost sensitive, more integrated into local social system, and greatest number of opinion leaders mean once these people are successful and happy with the ICT products, and definitely they go and they informed a large mass of the public that, oh, there is a new product coming. And so they definitely provide their recommendations to other people. And early majority, 34%. Remember the percentage here, 2.5 innovators and 13.5 early adopters. And early majority mean more people are coming now. So they are pragmatic people, they interact frequently with peers, and they're also the part of the opinion leaders. They avoid risk because they wait a bit. They're more cautious people. They're not like early adopters or the early majority, early adopters or the innovators. They are a little cautious. They want to see, hear the recommendation from others, and if the recommendation is good, then they work. And adopt new ideas just prior to the average time, and the little more, many of us are in this category actually. And then late majority men, when more people are using and experimenting, everything is done. These are more conservative type of people. And when all people, for example, in the family, within the family also, take, for example, a young son and daughter, 18, 19, 20, 25 of your age, for example, when you hear that some new device is in the market and then very experiment or something, and then you can be the innovators. And once you purchase that, your siblings in the family, they also want that. Maybe she can be early adopter. Then the maybe dad or mom or some other cousin, brothers, whosoever, and they also want to follow you because you experimented with some device, and then that works well, and it's very easy to connect, contact, or do some other small stuff, right? Then, and there are some people in the family who don't believe those things, maybe grandfather or some other people or neighbors. Once all people are adopting and using nicely, and then these people come because of the peer pressure. Everybody is using, there's someone is left alone. So they're more skeptical, cautious, and often techno side, cost sensitive, how much it costs, why should I pay that much? Because I have already old phone that is working, something. Adopt new ideas cautiously, just having average time, be careful, seeing they do a lot of cost benefit analysis, and adopting maybe both economic necessity and reaction to the peer pressure. I mean, most of the family are recommending and pressurizing, oh, you must have it, this gadget. Then. And the laggards, still there are a few people, they don't believe this technology. And then they simply want to avoid that. But they come in the final stage when these old device, they don't work at all, or the system is already collapsed. For example, those who used to be using floppy disks or CD, and maybe when they're coming back to the USB stick. So when floppy is not available in the market, when CD-ROM are not there in the computer system, when only USB sticks inserts and portal only is available in computer, then only they buy that. Meaning, when there is no choice, when there is no options, then these people come in this category. Very skeptical, isolated from opinion leaders, suspicious of innovation. I have one very good example of this innovation in regard to the banking procedure, for example. Innovators are using, for example, let's think about the mobile phone. This mobile phone, what I don't know what is it. In mobile phone, you can use mobile phone for the purchase. Your card, you can insert it in a wallet system, right? So innovators use the wallet system right away. Early adopters may be not following the wallet system, and they're still using the tapping. And early majority tapping, they're more conscious about that. Maybe tapping can take more money than the other one. And there are some people who want to insert their banking card too, the machine. They insert and they want to use their PIN manually, and they just want to see. There are some other people, even they don't want to do that card. They don't believe in that. They still follow the checks. And there are few people still they still believe in cash money until until the cash money is available. They prefer cash. If not, then check. If not, then card. So these are the laggard people. So in the banking system, when people go and exchange the financial transaction, you can see how people are in different stages. Here, according to Rogers, there are 5 stages of innovation adoption. In the beginning, they need to know awareness and knowledge. Second, they need to be pursued. They need to be convinced they are doing good, or they are definitely working good, and their money that they invest is not going as a wastage. and they decide, okay, yes, they will buy. And they will experiment, implementation. I mean, they try to use it. And once they use it, how are the results? And these results help them confirm this. Here you can see knowledge. First of all, the knowledge should be communicated through different communication channels: radio, television, social media, recommendations, people, social leaders, they are conveying this information. And persuasion, and this should be perceived, meaning there are some stages like relative advantage, how advantageous is this, compatibility, complexity, triability, observability. I will discuss this in the next slide. And they will decide then. Still, communication channel is making a very good role. Adoption, rejection, adoption over time, rejection over time. I mean, they can right away adopt it or they can right away reject it. And if they adopt, they purchase the product, then they implement, they start using it. And how is the end results? If still these results are very good, then they confirm it and they start recommending to others. So this is the cycle here. 1 and 5 stage innovation adoption process. And in knowledge, past practice, if you have past experience, that helps you. And if you have the work culture of organization or a team that you must need that, then you have to need it. For example, those people who are working in IT sector, if there's some new software coming, they know it and they want to try this, they want to see it. And those who are some techno savvy and they want to buy new type of mobile device, smartphones, iPhone 15, 16, whatever, and they try keep changing that because they want these features and then they're experimental all the time. But there are some other people, when iPhone 10 is working, why should I buy 15? Because almost the same features, except camera maybe, or except the front and back camera. So there are so many people with different kind of perceptions, and they have their different styles of decision-making process, especially when they want to adopt innovation. Here, factors affecting adoption. So why these factors? These factors for the persuasion. What are the persuasion things? Compatibility, how they are fitting in your need, in your values, in your organizational or in your employment-related needs. If they are very much compatible to them, if they are very helpful, those who are statisticians and they're working with a lot of statistics, they are just using Excel. And if they know SPSS software, maybe they can do that. And there are so many statisticians, they're using now different kind of AI tools to automatically calculate this because they're experimenting with that. Complexity, how complex is this? How difficult is this? Perceived difficulty in understanding and using the innovation. If it is too tough, then they're hesitant to use it. If it is easy, then they will do it. Triability mean, okay, can they experiment with the innovation, some new technology? So ability to experiment with the innovation to dispel uncertainty. So they try and see then see the end results and then they decide. Observability, the extent to which the innovation's results or benefits are visible to others. Observable. And then relative advantage. Perceived superiority of the innovation of other existing product. For example, I have this iPhone 15 here. Previously, I had iPhone 10. So why I'm buying this? So what are the new features coming? And why the benefit? It has a huge storage than the other one. It has a huge photographic quality than the other one. So there are so many other competitive features, even though I had iPhone 10 that was working, functionable, still working, but relatively this is more advantageous than the other one. This is why I adopted this. So these are the factors adopting. So if you read Kokak's article, page 24-25, the factors affecting adoptions are discussed in detail. Here is S-curve. Early adopters and innovators accelerate the curve. So here you can see innovators 2.5. This is the right percentage, 2.5. Early adopters 13.5. Early majority 34. Late majority another 34. Laggard 16. These are the percentage when Everett Rogers did his research and then calculated the data and found there are 2.5 innovators, 13.5 early adopters. So this is his category. If you do the same kind of research today with some community, you can find something different. Instead of 2.5, maybe 3 or 4 or even 1. And instead of 13.5 as early adopters, you can have a different calculation. But the curve is like this. Innovators are very few, early adopters a little more, early majority more than that, and then the curve goes down. And then the laggards are very few people, they're coming by the end when there is no choice. So late adopters slow the curve close. You can see this one. This is the curve, and this is the time factor. So, and market share then says the market is growing up. It's like iPhone company, this Apple company. So the more people are using, and now even in Apple companies, even iPhone 15 something, and these are not going as much as like in the iPhone 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. There was a massive sale, huge sale. Now they're a little slowing down because innovation is being limited. There's nothing of significant, a new kind of innovation there. People are using that. And when you find iPhone 15 and 16 or 14 and 15, 13 and 14, almost similar, and then the adoption process also slows because there's nothing new that why should people invest further and buy the new phone if the features are not radically different. And the strength factor of this theory now, so diffusion of innovation theory can be applied in different discipline of knowledge. It's in communication, in science, in health, in medical science, and marketing, technology adoption, and wherever. In all fields, this works. So this theory is interdisciplinary theory and is very helpful. And predictive power, it helps forecasting the spread of innovation. Meaning innovators are very few people, then there will be a significant growth for early adopters, a huge growth in early majority, then the S-curve comes down, late majority and laggards. And there are different stages of adoption. When there is a new product, it's not necessary that people are immediately buying it. No, there are stages, first, second, third, fourth, fifth. And weaknesses means weaknesses of the model, of this diffusion of innovation model. So this is a linear model. The world is so much complex and intertangled. So his time, 1962, non-computerized, manual, physical innovations used to be in most of the stuff. Now, computerized digital technologies are more software part. Those software were not even invented then, right? So after 1990s, the world came to the different state, the age of digital technology. So, and the age of digital technology is affected in a very complex way. And this theory, this model advocates a linear way, a gradual way. Now, this is not the case. So the critics of this theory are saying it's a linear model. The world has been advanced a lot ahead, and there are more connection complexities technologically in globally. So this linear model may not be applicable and may not be projecting a very true results. Number one, bias towards innovation. So one of the serious, genuine problem with this model is this model, this theory focuses on the innovation that are successful. iPhone 15, iPhone company, maybe how many people are adopting iPhone every year? And how many are the laggards using some other old phones, manual phones? Still, there are people that believe more on the landline. How many people are there? You can use that. But this focuses on successful innovations only and ignores those who are failing. So what happens when some innovations developed? Beautiful, but it is not very much successful in terms of public adoption. So this theory is a little biased towards those successful rather than the average others. This is one serious criticism. We can discuss further on this topic in class. Next, power dynamics. So innovation itself is not everything. Power relation influence the diffusion process of information. For example, TikTok, a huge innovation. It was spreading in North America as well. Now, American and Canadian governments, they imposed some kind of restriction and ban on those. And then this diffusion process is disturbed here. Power dynamic is very important these days when governments, they want to promote some kind of innovation and try to demote some kind of innovation. So we need to talk about the power dynamics as well. For example, think about the same S-curve and the TikTok here. So it's not just the early majority, late majority laggards. It's government also checking that and restricting people to do this. Ignores external factors, several external factors. So when there is economic recession, when there are some cultural influences, when there are some, maybe TikToks, I don't know, maybe TikTok may be less popular in those countries where women are restricted to dance in wherever open spaces, and women are restricted to publish this kind of stuff on the social media network. There are some restrictive cultures, restrictive countries with those kind of cultures. Versus the countries and cultures, they don't care about that, whether you dance outside or inside. So external factors, economic factors, cultural factors, political factors, these factors are definitely challenging this innovation process. And then these challenges are not realized, acknowledged in this communication model. And diffusion in digital platform. So we were talking about, this is the 1962's model. And then after 1990, many digital innovations are there. Internet, blogs, social media, AI tools, live streaming platform, and so many others. So how this theory applicable, whether this theory applicable in the same ratio like 2.5 flow, 13.5 flow, 34, 34, and then rest. Or we have something different kind of complications. And the digital identity devices have accelerated diffusion, particularly among young adopters, but the rate and influence factors and the factors affecting these innovations are different. Cross-cultural diffusion. So digital platform is such a platform that this is a cross-cultural platform, intercultural platform. Many cultures are coming in the same platform. Facebook, X, Twitter, or Instagram, all kind of people of different cultural background, they're there. And they're sharing this diffusion of innovation in a different light. Influencers, early adopters and influencers in the digital age who can accelerate the adoption process. So influencers mean some superstars, celebrities, network effects. The value of innovation increases as more people adopt. So Facebook, think about Facebook as an innovation of 2006. And now Facebook is one of the world's leading social media network company. And the more people involved in this network, in this software, and the value of Facebook is growing. And WhatsApp is there. There are so many other, this kind of stuff. Algorithms and diffusion, they are influencing the innovation adoption process. So these are the algorithms. Social media platforms are the algorithm-driven platforms. And so when people click one kind of ad, one kind of information, then they are likely to receive the similar kind of other ads. So this also affects the traditional linear Rogers style of innovation process. And here are some other examples like so smartphone, streaming platform, Facebook, public health, marketing, technology. These are the modern examples. So iPhone diffused rapidly due to the relative advantage and visibility. And here is a picture this iPhone uses worldwide. It kept growing, buyers are growing until 2023. But again, there will be the S curve and it will go down. Netflix and Spotify, they are a streaming platform. They also, once they were released, they were adopted by many. And maybe there is a S curve and there is processing is slow. When ChatGPT was introduced, and within a few days or month and within weeks, millions of people, they try to use it and subscribers are there and the share value is going up. Public health, innovation, when the COVID-19 vaccine were developed, how were the demands of those vaccines and how were the politics affected those vaccine spreading process, it. And technology, AI, artificial intelligence tools like ChatGPT, Copilot, Midjourney, and several others, and 5G technology. So whether Rogers' model, linear model, is not exactly fitting in this context of today's digital platform, still Rogers' model is giving a guiding idea or discussion how innovation process works. Still, this model is valid. So here I'm coming to the weekly readings here. I'm not discussing much, but a few very good ideas here. There are 3 readings I already said. Norman's Everyday Things. This was published in 1995. Still very relevant and very interesting, this topic, the psychopathology of everyday thing. When we have different gadgets, ICT device, or other manual devices, how they're used, how easily they're used, whether they're used for helping people's general perception, natural understanding, or they are being more complex and innovation process is being slowed. Innovation diffusion process is being slowed. So this is the discussion here. So here are some key issues discussed by Norman is most of the objects he discusses in the chapter are doors, microwave, bicycles, and so many others, and the clock and grandfather clock or something. So clock, and there are some others also. So he was talking about that. And then he finds there are errors in design because they're not easily usable. There's something complex because their designs, they fail to understand the psychology of the people, how they can use it easily. And visibility principles, when new technology are coming. So for example, this one. This is a complex technology for a new user because it doesn't have any button here. So except in the sides. And so first users, they don't know why these buttons are here. And what is the control panel here? So you have to open it using passcode or some face ID recognition lock. And then it opens here, and then you have so many other things. But in the beginning, it's complex. So visibility principle is missing in most of the modern technological gadgets. So it says visibility principle is very important to see and understand. And affordances and feedback mean how easy to use them. For example, if chair is there, if there are switches that are there, if people can see the switch, and if the switch functions, one switch functions for something one, then this is easier one. If the same switch functions for multiple purpose, then this is more difficult. This is the idea of Norman. And this is about, it's a mapping mean general guess, understanding of people. Controls should have a logical relationship with their effects. When, for example, when we are driving car, when we drive to the right, what we assume that the wheels are turning to the right. If we are driving car and turning to the right and wheels are coming to the left, I mean, this is the just opposite of the mind mapping. And natural design, this is also related to the mapping. Natural design that uses intuitive signals such as placing vertical bar to push the door. Which door to push, which door to pull, which door we should do nothing. So it's just the opens automatically because of the sensor. So there should be clear signals, otherwise people can be confused. This is how Norman started his chapter in the beginning. Complexity in devices. Telephones and appliances gain more features, they become harder to use. So this kind of, every telephone now, meaning every smartphone, they are becoming complex and based on the different companies, Samsung company, iPhone company, there are other companies also, and they are designing in their own way. And so people are confused because all companies should have the similar kind of buttons at least and features. So this is the advocacy for him, Norman's advocacy, and he is thinking that when we are trying to make it modern, sophisticated, and we are making stuff difficult. And mental models mean he suggests the designers to follow how people think. So when designers provide incorrect, insufficient models, users struggle to operate objects, leading to errors. And design failures, poor design leads to errors and frustration because designers, they overlook usability in favor of aesthetics and technical complexity. Look at this, look like so beautiful, bright. And I was not aware why these 3 cameras here instead of 1 or 2. What the third camera functioning, I was not aware. And what is the button for the third camera? I was looking for that too. They are complex. Conceptual models, users rely on conceptual model. Users' thinking pattern and manufacturers and designers' thinking pattern are different. Users want from the simple steps, wants to follow the simple step. The designers want to make it more sophisticated, complex, and then sometimes to be more economic, making the stuff cheaper than they are making things more complex. Psychology and design. Design should align with human cognitive thinking process. And invisible and complex features makes this process difficult and innovation becomes slow. A diffusion of innovation becomes slow. And here U-shaped curve of complexity. So this picture is based on, this was not exactly in Norman's chapter, for example. I have this chapter here. I don't know how to bring it here. So in this chapter, he talks about this U-shaped curve of complexity. So my question will be in the classroom is this. What does this mean? Question for you, you have to discuss on this. And still the diffusion of innovation relevant? Number 1, we already discussed on that. Number 2, whether this article is relevant or not, it's already 3 decades old. The article is still relevant because it talks about the principle and thinking and designing. So the rapid growth of digital infrastructure, small devices, and interconnected system has made everyday objects even more complex. So his projections are very true when we're talking about the iPhone, because iPhone started from 2006 or 7, I think 7. So, and to now, 2024, iPhone is massively growing, and innovation diffusion is also worldwide. But the complexity of iPhone is also growing. And first-time users, there are so many users, they usually come using other smartphone and to iPhone. Maybe they're migrating to figure out some better device, or they're not familiar with iPhone right away. It is expensive too, and using some cheaper phone, and then gradually they come. Visibility, affordance, feedback, alignment, human cognitive expectations, these are very important factors. Visibility means when you see, you should understand how to operate. Which switch is first, which tab is first. But in this context, there's nothing. Affordances mean guidance, how to use it. And feedback mean, so if you did some kind of error, then you should receive some kind of guiding message there. Alignment with human cognitive expectations mean people have some kind of thinking pattern and follow this thinking pattern when designing some new technology. And Norman's principle is still very important because it advocates the human-centered design. And now we are in the age of AI tools now. AI and automation increase system complexity. Which AI does what function and how is more difficult these days. So still, Norman's article is very relevant, and we can discuss on that. And here are some questions for you. We can discuss in the class how Norman's principle of prudence apply to modern digital device like smartphone. In what ways has the complexity of modern technology mirrored Norman's observation in the paradox of technology? Think about this paradox of technology. This particular terminology used there, and just go through, read it, and figure out why this author used this idea. What role does feedback play in modern user interface, and how the poor feedback affects user experience? These are the questions we'll be discussing. And the key insights of this chapter or of this article is, look at here the picture, design model and designer's perspective here, user's model, user's perspective here. We have to mix them both, and there is a middle path so that designers and users both can benefit out of this. And we already said poor design causes frustration among users, and the innovation adoption process becomes slow. Think from user's perspective, and you should have the clear guidelines when they're how to use, what to use first, how to use it. There is another article by Kaya and Errol, social media from the perspective of diffusion of innovation. In this article, they talk about the diffusion of innovation first and the future of social media second, and then they apply the diffusion of innovation process in the social media context, and then they have some kind of conclusion and results. So before doing that, I will just show you this picture. Technology acceptance model developed by Davies in 1989. He did a PhD in technology-related research, and then he developed this model. So external variables, perceived usefulness. When you are buying, for example, when you are buying this iPhone 15, perceived usefulness, how useful it is, whether your money is valued by this usefulness, there are new features, then you are supposed to buy. And how easy it is to use. Is it very easy? Not easy, very complex. If it is easy to handle and it is useful, then you will have the positive thinking towards the technology, number one. Then gradually that changes your behavioral intention to use it, number two. and then you start using it. So this is the technology acceptance model. This also complements Rogers' innovation model. And here, external factors mean there's so many factors: cultural factor, monetary factor, your job employability, and your affluence, and computer, whether people are techno savvy or they have the IT anxiety, and so demonstrability. There are so many other factors, they affect that. Even the country's recession process also affects this. So they use, they discuss about the social media. I already said social media is based on the Web2 platform. And they incorporate, within social media, they incorporate blogs, networking sites, microblogs, content sharing sites, wikis, podcast forums, everything. And they are they are very popular because they are very friendly, usable, and then most of them are free. A diffusion of innovation, and then they try to apply this theory: knowledge, persuasion, decision, implementation, and confirmation. So once you know the diffusion of innovation, you understand this article very well. And there are some arguments. So authors argue that social media follows the 5 stages of innovation process. This is their argument. They try to apply this. So, and then factors: compatibility, complexity, travelability, observability, and relative advantage. These are the factors affecting the innovation process, and the discusses on that. And then article says that social media empowers users by giving them control over content creation. So this is very important factors for diffusion of innovation. This is their argument. And here are some questions for you. So how does the DOI theory explains the factors that influence adoption of social media platform? What characteristics of social media contribute to its widespread use? How do these align with the need of various social groups? So in what ways has the shift from passive media consumption to active content creation impacted the ethics and privacy concerns associated with social media? And can you compare the adaptability of social media platform using TAM, technology acceptance model? So they were using social media in the DOI model, diffusion of innovation. I'm asking here technology acceptance model and social media. Can you believe that, or try to discuss on those things? So we'll be discussing on it. And so here is the third article by MacVaugh and Schiavone, limits of diffusion of innovation. This article also is explicitly focused on diffusion of innovation. So what you can do here, understand diffusion of innovation first, and then they are more focusing on the limitations of diffusion of innovation. What are the limitations? And they have some key arguments here. DOI is limited by technological, social, and learning barriers, and technological adoption is highly context dependent, and non-adoption of or delayed adoption is not merely a failure, but can be a rational outcome. People are doing something and they're not adopting right away, but maybe they're adopting in a later date. And existing technology often survive, meaning when there is a new innovation, still the old technology can survive. The existing technology can survive due to strong network effects, user expertise with the older system, or the social prestige attached to the continuing barriers. Still, there are people using some landline wired phoning system. It's a matter of the social prestige sometimes. And there are some limitations, and they developed one integrative model, how they can control the limitations of diffusion of innovation model. And here are some questions. So how do technological complexity and complementarity products affect the adoption of new innovation in different industries? In what ways do social relations with their users' communities hinder or promote the diffusion of new technology? What role do switching cost and user learning play in resistance in adopting new technologies? And how can companies mitigate these factors? So these are the quick questions. So all 3 articles are related to diffusion of innovation theory very much. And first article talks about the older technology and the instruction system. Second article talks about social media. Third article talks about the limitations of diffusion of innovation. And it's systematic literature review. And so there are some class discussion comparative questions as well. Maybe we can discuss further that in the class, comparing diffusion of innovation models across different authors in 3 articles, post-pandemic technological shift, and then we can try to bring this diffusion of innovation idea into this post-pandemic context. And we can discuss technological complexity, learning barriers, and AI tools, so that we are bringing the diffusion of innovation into AI tools context, and social influence in adoption, how it works. We can discuss on that. And ethical consideration, this is very important part, ethics, when we are adopting some new technology. And there are some modern barriers and to adapt before and after COVID-19. So, and the relevance of diffusion of innovation theory in the age of AI. This is another question. So these are the questions we can be discussing during the class discussion. So if you have any questions, you can write me email. You can read that, and we can discuss more questions in the classroom. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please watch it. Maybe you can repeat it, and then I will post the presentation as well on the week 3. So check the content, and you will receive the email regarding how to access this video and the PowerPoint presentation. Okay, thank you very much.